Let's put a 25-year-old tonneau cover on a 30-year-old truck that it was never designed to fit on. So 20-something years ago, my grandparents bought a second-gen S-10 to use on the farm. Now I had to do some research to figure out what year model it was or even what year that it happened. I know it was an extended cab with a third door. I also remember showing my grandfather how to turn off the passenger airbag as well as the daytime running lights. So that tells us it was at least a 96 model. Now when they bought it secondhand from a local dealer because the tag on the front said Triangle Chevrolet in the Funiac Springs. Now that particular dealer did not do aftermarket dealer options at the time. So the simple fact that that truck had a tonneau cover on it means it was probably secondhand. And that tonneau cover has a manufacturer date of July 97, therefore they probably bought it in 98 and it may have been a 97 or 98 year model, roughly. So when my grandparents bought this second gen with a tonneau cover for a farm truck, my grandmother was all happy about the tonneau cover because she'd keep stuff dry in the bed. My grandfather, however, saw the need for a toolbox, not a bed cover. So he pulled the bed cover off the truck. Now, that being said, my cousin Jared, who had just bought his first truck, said, "I bet that tonneau cover will fit my truck." It looked a lot like that, only green, and asked if he could have it. My grandmother still liked the tonneau cover, did not want to give it up. So let's fast forward to 2001. At this point, I had already worn out that little yellow Ranger and needed a vehicle. So I bought Jared's truck, which looked a lot like that one, only green, and more beat up than that one, if you can imagine that. So then I went to my grandmother and said, "I got a truck, I'd like to use that tonneau cover." And she said no. The reason was because she didn't give it to Jared, she couldn't give it to me. And I explained to her, "But I've got Jared's truck now." And she says, "But I didn't let him have it, so I can't let you have it. Otherwise, it'll look like I'm playing favorites." I think we all knew I was the favorite grandchild anyway, but... So then we fast forward to just a few years ago when my grandparents are gone and the family starts cleaning out the property to get ready to sell the property. And I come across this tonneau cover. That instantly makes it special. And I'll be honest with you, I don't care if that second gen tonneau cover fits this first gen truck or not. I will find a way to make it work. So at this point, I reached out to the Hardcore S10 group, had several people give me some measurements off their second gen trucks so that I could compare them to the first gen truck and see if this tonneau cover will fit. Several members responded, and I thank you very much for that. And I want to send out a great big thank you to William Cody Prince, who not only gave me measurements, but took the time to video chat with me and show me how he got those measurements. Greatly appreciated. Thank you for that. So let's find a way to make this cover fit this truck. Yeah. I assume that all the parts are here, but I don't know. But if I know anything about my grandmother, she saved every single part. My grandparents grew up during the Great Depression, and they were poor. And because of that, my grandmother has jokingly been referred to as a hoarder over the years, or at least by me. And I say jokingly because she wasn't like stacks of newspaper or nothing. She could not throw away anything that she saw of value that she could reuse later in life. Whether it be a 2x4 or a 6 foot by 6 foot piece of carpet, whatever. If she could reuse it, by God, it's gonna get kept. So, it wasn't a big stretch that this was found in the barn, but quite honestly, I was quite impressed at the condition that it seemed to be in. So, let's see what we can do with it. Don't get that. Unless that's the, let's see. Ew. Okay, that's a bow. Ah, it's just stuck together. Duh. I would assume this to be the back, that to be the front, because it has a nameplate on it. So we've got a tag here. Custom Form Manufacturing Incorporated. And then if we come over here to the tonneau cover, hey, you, pay attention. Then we found this custom cover by Custom Form. So let's Google that and see what we come up with. Well, the only thing I found on the internet was that Custom Form was apparently bought out by a company called Penda in 1998. Now this has a rounded plastic corner here and here on both ends of this one. Considering how I've got that one set up there, that would have to go on, oops, this end, that direction. This one has a round plastic corner on one end but not the other, but the piece on the front, provided it's supposed to be the front piece, has the other corner in it. That's what the end of the extrusion, the aluminum extrusion, looks like. They all have some type of 3M style padding. All this is two little tabs. It looks like a piece there might be broke off of it, but yeah, the piece that's broke off went on the top. Yeah, it's got a L-shaped piece that goes on that top section. Part of the other one's broke off too. Apparently somebody broke it trying to take it apart, but we'll work with it best we can. And it's not completely inserted, but it's pretty close. We know that that goes that way. Let's see if we can get this inserted. 20-year-old plastic is not easy to work with. Don't fall off the edge there. It might be too long for this trick. Well, no. If we pull that, now that's hanging all the way off the side. What's up with that? All right, so we've got this on the bed rail right there. If we come down to this end and put that right there, and then go to the other side, well, that ain't working. In the process of getting the good people at Hardcore S-10 Facebook group to give me some measurements, we also learned the bed tapers to the back, so this thing might be backwards. Let's see if we can do this without breaking anything. Let's see how much of a difference it makes, if any. Everything is inserted all the way, or at least as far as I can get it. Idiot. Drop it off the end of the truck. Huh. Who'd have thunk that? We've got on the rail all the way down and around and right up the other side. I would have never thought there was that much of a difference between the front and the back. But apparently, it's that way on both the first gen and the second gen. Now we got to figure out how to connect it to the truck. Ha! Let's take a look at this. I have no idea how that's supposed to attach. So, let me play with it. It'll clip down, but I don't see how it's supposed to hold that on. Oh, wait. Does it go like that? That's possible. Hold on. There we go. Look at that. Yay. This goes Yep, herein lies the problem. The bed is not exactly the same size as the second gen S-10. So in the process of trying to figure out how to get rid of this gap, I found out that there is a push button clip with 3 adjustments. So you push that in and you can tighten that up or make it smaller, I assume, for the cover. Problem is, if the cover has to be out that far, then it's not going to be a tight cover, but we have no way of knowing till we get this thing put together. Still cannot figure out what these are for. I don't know, but it's got a good fit to it so far. Let's put some more clamps on it. Let's see where it goes from there. This clips in to the bottom rail. Tight as you can get it. Oh, that scared me. I thought it was going to break. Let's go do the other side. And the other side's not going to work. It's stuck out too far. We might have to find a different way to hold this thing on the bed. But first and foremost, let's try and get the tonneau cover on the rail. And then once we get it positioned, we'll figure out a way to hold the rail to the bed. All right, we're gonna make the assumption that the logo goes at the back. Look at there, June 13th, 1997 is the manufacture date on this tonneau cover. So right before my battery died on my phone, I realized that this plastic piece was covering the end of this channel right here, this little groove in the channel. And that channel groove is where you insert the end of the bed cover. So I had to take this piece off of it, and we'll try and put it back together after we get the channel inserted into the tonneau cover. Of course, I don't know how far in it's supposed to go. Tell you what, let's put this in together. Roll it over. And it'll help to straighten that out. Let's see if that helps. I think I broke that plastic clip on the other end. That's all the way in there. All right. Son of a! I'm on the verge of giving up. That way in the front. It probably helped to heat this thing up. because it's cold today. Well, cold to me, not cold to you. All right, you got to take into consideration that this thing's been stored away for about 20 years. So it's not going to stretch real easy right off the bat. On top of that, 40 degrees outside or in here is not going to help it stretch either. So last night, I got this as close as I could, and it was about this much of it that wasn't. Can you even see that? Yeah. So last night I got this corner stretched as close as I could get, and then today I put me a heater, an LP gas tank heater, sitting over it, warming it up, and I popped this back edge loose, pulled it this way to try and stretch it, and got the whole thing where the corners covered it. But for a 20-year-old cover, it's not in bad condition. It does have one little spot that you can't see on the outside, but if you crawl up underneath it, there's light coming through it where it's got a little hole. Hopefully we'll be able to patch that from the back side once we get this done. But for now, I've got to get this side stretched, insert it into the rail, and then figure out a way to mount the rail to the bed, because we can't use the clips because the clips want to, well, the clips are not wide enough to accommodate the rails being where they need to be on this bed. Now this side has about a half a finger's worth, close, about 3/4 of a finger's worth from the body line. But if we go to the other side, it's hanging over that body line, which is right here. We can make this match up pretty well with the body line on this side, but that means we got to take the clip out on that side, slide it over, find a way to attach it on both sides. Pain in the butt that it's taking this much to get it there, but that's all right. It's worth it in the end. All right, so I sent my grandson up underneath it to unhook the clips that were here because they were not allowing the cover to center up. And that is about centered on both sides. This has a curve in it there, and an even bigger inward curve here. So I started looking at this rail and that bow in the rail, and I realized that this was further back than this is, and then I thought, well, maybe if we undo this clip, oh, look at that. I guess we'll be making 6 clips instead of just 4. So now we just got to do that 6 more times. 5 more times. Holmes County math. I will say that I've never been a fan of a tonneau cover that sits up over the bed. I'd rather have the flush mount of a button-up tonneau cover or even a Velcro. But considering the history behind this one and the fact that it is 25 years old and it was my grandmother's. I think we'll clean it up and try to make it work. We're gonna run with it. Well, we might have to clean it a couple of more times, but it looks a lot better, especially considering it's been in storage for 25 years in a dusty barn. So I really have no room to complain. Besides, I got a motto. If it's for free, it's for me. Tell you what though, that does make a dramatic difference on that truck. I like it.